Alright guys, bienvenidos a otro video. Hoy vamos a continuar nuestra conversación sobre gustar and our IOPs. So, just a brief little refresher as to what we did with our last lecture. We were investigating what exactly an IOP is and how to use it in a sentence to express liking something. Alright, so if I wanted to say, for example, I like the book, or the book is pleasing to me, it would come out as so. We have me, here's my IOP, I am the one being affected. My verb here was gusta, and then finally our subject was the book. So we have el libro, right? So the book is pleasing, and finally to me, right? Okay, let's continue. So another way that we can see gusta being used is whether or not a verb is the subject, okay? So an action. So the verb form is the infinitive, no matter what the English translation is. So when an infinitive is the subject, the singular gusta is used. Let's do that one more time. When an infinitive is the subject, the singular gusta is used. Okay, so let's do a few examples here. If I wanted to say, for example, I like to cook, or cooking is pleasing to me, in other words, we would start off with the IOP, of course, in which case it's me again. I'm the one that's being affected. So we have me. We know that gusta is the form that we use because a verb is the subject. So me gusta. And then here we go. Our subject is to cook. They said to leave it in the infinitive form. So I'm going to write here, cocinar. Me gusta cocinar. In other words, to cook is pleasing to me. All right? We'll look at a few more examples on the next slide. Here we go. So for example, if I wanted to say, I like to win, we would arrange that in Spanish to be read as me. We have then gusta, and then our verb ganar. Or in other words, it is said, to win is pleasing, ready, to me. Or you're also able to phrase it like this. We could say winning is pleasing, and finally to me. All right, I hope we're getting good at this. Here we go. So some more examples here. If I had the sentence me gusta comer, we know that that's going to translate to eat is pleasing to me, right? Or me gusta comer. Okay, and in the example below, notice we've added not just one verb, but we have two things that is pleasing to me. So we have me gusta escribir y leer, right? So again, I'm still the one that's being affected here. It's still me. And the subject here is not only going to be to write, but it's also to read. So to write and to read, we have finally is pleasing to me. Here we go. Me gusta escribir y leer. It is, again, to write and to read is pleasing, finally, to me. Okay. So note that gusta remains singular even if it's followed by a series of verbs. Okay. You can put 10,000 verbs after your sentence. If you have 10,000 things that you really like to do, you're still going to use gusta no matter how many things there are. All right. So the only forms of gustar that we're going to need is the third person singular, which is gusta. Notice how it ends in an A, just like our third person verbs do, right? Like habla, canta, limpia. Right? So we have that third person singular, and then we have the third person plural here, which we see gustan. And notice that it has the an ending, just like our third person plural verbs do. Like cantan, caminan, limpian, right? So we've talked about gusta. Now it's time to talk about one that's similar, which is gustan. All right. So we're working now with plural subjects here. Here we see a Spanish construction. We have me gustan los libros. If we're breaking down the parts of this sentence again, my IOP is me still I am the one being affected. Now check it out, my subject here. In this one, it's not el libro, it's not the book, but rather los libros, many books. All right, let's pretend it's Harry Potter, for example, in which case, yes, I love all of those. So, me gustan. Notice how my verb changed here. It's not gusta with an A. We added the N ending to make it plural. So, let's take a look at our breakdown here. We've already been through it, so we know los libros. That is a plural noun, and it is the subject. This is why gustan, the plural sense, was used because, now, underline it, bold it, I don't care, give it a crazy big font, because the verb must agree with the subject, okay? Just like we conjugate our verbs to match our subjects, like yo canto, yo hablo, yo cocino. In this case, the subject also has to match the verb, and in this case, it is plural, right? So we have a plural subject, we have a plural gustar. If we have a singular subject, we have a singular gusta. All right, and then lastly, of course, we should be comfortable by now. Me, of course, is the IOP. It is the to whom portion of our sentence, to whom the action is occurring. All right, let's look at some more. So again, if the subject of the sentence is a plural noun, gusta becomes gustan in order to agree with the plural subject. So we see one example down here below. Again, it is I like the books. Or in other words, to me, we have the books are pleasing. I have a plural noun, therefore I have to have a plural verb. We have a few more examples. If I wanted to say that the parties are pleasing to me, that would come out as so. We have the parties being the subject, are pleasing, and then me, I am still the one that's being affected here. To say sports are pleasing to me, again, the sports, plural, are what are pleasing, and finally, to me yet again. And then finally, if the dogs are pleasing to me, we would see that take shape as los perros, and then gustan, my plural verb matching, and then it's all coming back to me again. All right. Good job, guys. I hope you're with me so far. We've got one last slide to go. All right. So, our final rule here, working with negative sentences with gustar. In order to do so, all we need to do is simply place no before the I-O. So that kind of rhymed. No before the I-O. So, down below, wow, I'm not trying to rhyme, I promise. We have no, then we have our IOP, me, gustan, finalmente los refrescos, right? So then we have the sodas are not pleasing, finally, to me. Or if we wanted to use it with a verb as a singular subject again, we would see no me gusta, finalmente cocinar, or rather to cook. We have is not pleasing, and finally to me. All right, that's all the things we have for this presentation, my friends. I hope that it was helpful. If you have questions, let me know. Thank you for keeping on, and we've got just a couple more videos to get through, and then we will be good. All right, adios amigos, ciao.